What up, guys? Time for more comments. You guys have been posting the comments, and I have been reading them, and I'm ready to answer some of them right now. If you want to be in next month's reading your comments video, then feel free to comment on this one, because I always go to these videos first for questions and answers and try and pull the most from those ones before I go to other videos. So we're going to jump right into it here with a question about Mortal Kombat 11. Gentleman says, found your channel a couple weeks ago and I've been mostly watching regularly. My question is two parts. What do you think is the single best variation in MK11 and the single worst one? I like that question a lot. I think it's a good question. I think the best variation is just barely Ace of Knaves Joker. Upgraded Jackie maybe could make an argument there, but I think Ace of Knaves is just like the sickest thing, and once you get in the corner, it's like, if you lose your turn, good luck, buddy. Like, you're kind of toast. So I think, yeah, Ace of Knaves Joker, possibly upgraded Jackie. I would entertain an argument on that. I don't really struggle with that variation that much. Once I kind of learned that you just kind of have to make her run out of her resources, and then she has to do something unsafe, as long as you can kind of make it through there. But she's just annoying in general with a 9-frame mid. I guess they're trying to make up for her lack of projectile, but I feel like I've said all this stuff already. Anyways, worst variation. You guys know that in my heart, you know exactly what I want to say. You know who I want to be the worst variation. But sadly, it's not. It's Truth and Light Raiden. Worst variation in the game, bar none. I spent about a week with him and then just gave up. There's like nothing there. Like, I like playing the more underplayed variations just to see if I'm missing something, but you're not missing anything there. That variation doesn't do anything. Raiden is better now because he got his buffs, but that variation just doesn't do anything. It's supposed to have some cool setups and maybe a little bit of extra chip damage or damage in general when it comes to zoning, but the little staff thing doesn't stay there long enough for you to do really anything. So it's pretty dang useless. But I would put that, and then Spellmaster, slightly better. And then maybe Creepy Crawly Devora? That variation is actually not terrible. I think people just don't see it a lot and just assume it's bad. But actually, it's got some mix-up. It's got some schmicks and some setups. So I don't know. I like to see people play around with that stuff more. Spider Ant, shoutouts to you, my friend. What was it about Cetrion that really intrigued you? Was it her boulders? No, it wasn't. She was a new character. That was really all it was. She just kind of, the whole Elder God kind of thing intrigued me, that you're bringing an Elder God down to, like, to fight the Earth Realmers and intermingle. Didn't really care that she was Shinnok's sister. I always think about, like, them at, like, a Thanksgiving dinner or something. Like, you're just kind of arguing amongst each other. And Kronika trying to, be mediate it. I don't know. It's just a funny thought to me. But yeah, as soon as I started playing Force of Nature, I think I started with Spring Cleaning because that's what everyone was picking up. I played it and I was like, okay, it's fun. And then I played Force of Nature and I was like, oh, this is like way more down my alley. So then I picked it up, played that one. Managed to get top 8 at Northwest Majors, which was like, I think one of the first MK11 majors. That was a lot of fun. I was proud of myself. Lost to Chris G, who went and won the whole thing. So no, I'm not upset by that at all. And yeah, so that's why I chose Cetrion. A lot of it's gameplay wise, but a little bit of it is kind of design and lore as well. So next comment. Change the name of the channel to just Dink MK or something easier. Your YouTube channel's name makes your videos hard to find. I kind of argue the opposite on that. I think Shujinkydink, if you Google it, I'll be the only thing that comes up. If you put Dink MK, you might get some other kind of things. But that's something that was actually a nice surprise, because I picked that gamertag back in 2004, not knowing that I'd be doing any of this down the road. But it makes it really good for marketing wise, because like I said, you Google it, I'm the only thing that comes up. So it's like super unique in that way. I like, Dink for short, of course. I'm cool with that. But yeah, I appreciate, I get what you're saying. That takes a while to type it in, but it's not going anywhere. This guy's a little bit of a freaking novel. If you're watching this on mobile, you probably can't read it. I'm gonna have to like go in all old man here. I made Jaded, and I can tell you for sure that Jade's worst matchup is Cetrion. Blah! I always go Highborn versus Cetrion. I don't play Emerald Defender, but I still think it's a bad matchup for her too, because if Jade were to throw up air projectiles, you crushing blow her with a boulder. You can't put the glow because you punish with Vine. Plus, Cetrion wins neutral versus Emerald Defender. Cetrion's pressure is safe. Emerald Defender's pressure up close is weak and mostly unsafe. I really don't know how you see Jade as a counter pick. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. So we'll start with what he was saying about hitting him with the air boulder. If Jade puts her glow on, she can just do the air stuff all day. She doesn't even have to worry about the air boulder. If you're getting hit by the air boulder all the time, you're probably not using a glow properly. Second thing I would say is if you're getting hit the Vine out of your glow, you're being very predictable with your glow because the Vine is not a reactionary thing you can do to a glow. You have to read that it's going to happen and then do the Vine and hope that your opponent does the glow and hits them out of the glow. That's Cetrion's only option. Ground Pound doesn't work. Air boulders don't work. Ground boulders don't work. Shattering boulder doesn't work. The Vine is the only thing that will hit Jade when she's in that purple glow. And because the startup of the glow is faster than the Vine, you have to start the Vine up before the glow starts up, or you're going to have a bad time. So ultimately, this shuts down Force of Nature's entire freaking style, and you have to play Rush Down, which is fine. She can rush down a little bit with, Ground Pound cancels and that kind of thing. So I mean, it's definitely a winnable matchup for Cetrion, but definitely advantage is in Jade's favor. Can actually just zone her out back as long as you're smart with your glow and you're not just throwing it out at every opportunity. So hard disagree on that one. Hard disagree. Next comment comes to us from Large Panda 90. Hey Dink, is it true you used to play the whole MK9 story to unlock Quan to play him in every tourney you intended to? Not every tournament. It was just there are some ones, and they tended to be smaller ones where they didn't have Quan unlocked. So yes, I had a strategy. I wish I would have made a video about it because I don't really remember, but I had a strategy and a perfect way to cheese your way through the story mode, and it was super easy. Every AI had certain tendencies. If you're playing against Quan Chi, for example, you just hold block the whole time. He'll eventually sky drop almost every time. Doesn't matter what difficulty. They just think it's a good move for some reason. So things like that. It was kind of a pain, but I got good at it, so it's kind of whatever. And then, there's a couple times I showed up and I'm oh, Dink, we need you to run story mode on this. I'm again, I like the story now. I liked the story before, but, it's getting kind of old now, so... Anyways, yeah, that was a story. I think Ketchup and Mustard mentioned that in one of their videos, not recently-ish, I think, so that was kind of nice to get a shout-out from them. Game Time TV. I know this is a janky question, but what's your favorite MK, including MK versus DC? You could have included or excluded it, wouldn't have made a difference. That game is trash. It's garbage, but it did kind of open the way for WB to acquire Midway Games, who is now NetherRealm Studios, because Midway went bankrupt back in 2008, for those that weren't around during those times or didn't really know what was going on. And Mortal Kombat was almost about to be lost because nobody bid on it. Nobody wanted to take on Midway. So WB worked with them, made MK versus DC, and then said, okay, well, we'll buy you up. And of course got them for super cheap because nobody else wanted them. So it's kind of just name your price kind of thing. So, anyways, it's a little... I get so rambly sometimes when I make these. Favorite MK, I got two of them. MK9 for sure, because I met so many cool people. It was the first time that I had traveled outside of Canada, go to events. I was winning tournaments. I was Canadian champion a couple times. This was back before people were really good, so... yeah, just a lot of good memories tied with MK9. I just love the game. The rune trap is fun. Everyone's got something busted, and those who don't aren't worth playing anyway. So, I don't know. It's a fun game and good times. And then my next one would be MK Deception, because that's kind of where I got into the competitive scene, and just thinking of it more as just a casual pastime, and how do I get good, joining online forums. That's kind of what changed me, because I've talked about this a couple times. I used to be kind of a scrub, I used to rage quit on people and pull my Ethernet cord and shit. And then I got part of a community, and everyone hated me when I joined, of course. But then I started getting better and training with these people and understanding that losses are good. Don't avoid them. You learn more from a loss than you do from a win. And that game in general is just fun. Like, chess combat was freaking so hype, man. And the conquest mode, I hope they do something similar with that, or make like a open world MK game at some point. I think that would be really cool and really successful, especially with the landscape of games these days. Or those games in general are really popular. So I really hope that they kind of go and do something like that when their 6-game contract with WB is up here after. I think it'll be Injustice 3, which should probably come out next year sometime. So those are my 2 favorite games. Maybe leave me what are your favorite MK games? Comments down below. I like to read them. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see you do a video playing as Robin. I mained him when the game came out. Well, you're in luck, because I did a 15-minute character on Robin and learned him in 15 minutes and took him into ranked matches, and the result, I'm not going to spoil it for you. So I will post the link to that video down below so you can get all your Robin-y goodness filled for the day from the Dinkster, because that's just what I do. Dink! Hey bro, I know this is a weird place to ask. Of course this isn't a weird place. You can ask anywhere, dude. Anywhere. Doesn't matter. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up here. Hit me up on Twitch. Pay $1, join Bonehog Discord, chat with me during the day. I've been in there a lot lately, actually. It's been a lot of fun chatting with Hater and Carl. Anyways, but other than your Bonehawk room, I don't know how else to get a hold of you. I'm curious about what type of equipment and programs, apps you use to make your videos. Hoping you see this. Thanks again in advance, and thanks for all you do. Well, opinionated, esoteric, thank you for the question. I appreciate that. Equipment. Let's start with equipment. What do I use that's good here? I have a BenQ monitor. None of this is sponsored, by the way. I'm not that big of a YouTuber. A BenQ monitor that has HDMI in and out. This allows me to have no lag on what I'm watching on the screen, and still have it go out to my capture card. I use the Elgato HD60S, I think it is. It's an internal one, so I actually attach it onto my motherboard, and that way it minimizes. There's almost no lag. I can play with my game sound on, and I don't notice any lag at all. It's really nice. It's a little bit on the pricey side, but it's definitely worth it if you're going to be doing a lot of streaming or recording. Paying a little bit extra for something like that. And then of course I got my consoles. I got Xbox One, PS4, Xbox 360, and a Switch. Times that by 2, other than the Switch for my son, so he can play his games. I don't have fancy headset, HyperX, Blue Yeti microphone, which I want to upgrade to like a XLR or something, but I have to do more research on that. I'm not very smart. 2 lamps up here. You can't see them, they're behind the camera. And then of course my trusty little fan over here. You might be able to hear it going back and forth, back and forth. So that's it for equipment. Apps and stuff, I use 2 different recording apps. Right now I'm using one called XSplit. You may or may not heard of it. I use this more when I have to do like screenshots and stuff like that, like how I have the comment on the screen. It's just easier for me to use this app because this is what I started using, and now I've kind of moved over to OBS for the most part. It being free is a nice touch too. But there are just some things screenshot wise on XSplit that's easier, and it's just I can open either one and they're good. OBS can do everything that the premium XSplit can do for free. Sometimes it's just a little bit of different shortcuts getting there. So if you're wondering which one to use, OBS is the free one. Some things are a little bit take extra steps, but it does have some really nice things, like you can separate the voice channel. XSplit, I haven't really found a good way to do that. It seems to create like 8 different sound channels if I want to split it up. But yes, if you want to have your audio on one and then your game sound on another, on OBS it's super easy. Yeah, then video editing, as far as editing goes, I use Adobe Premiere. I've used it since high school. I love it. I'm fairly proficient with it. I don't really do much editing, honestly. Like, my goal with trying to get so many videos out, throughout a week, my goal is just to make things just kind of, smooth as it goes along. So that's, I don't really use a whole lot, but every once in a while I get a little bit creative. And Hater's been on my ass. He's been like, get more creative, put more things, more flashy things in the videos. So, if you see that going forward, I'm going to, thank Hater for that, for opening up my creative side. And then for photos, I used GIMP for a long time. It's basically a free version of Photoshop. But Hater was trying to help me, understand how to do things and make images because I'm trying to step up my thumbnail game and make them a little bit better. Maybe you've noticed they're a little bit different the last week or so because I've been playing around with like different lighting and that kind of thing. So now I've switched over and using Photoshop, and I'm kind of fumbling my way through it, but I'm making it work. So it's going to be a long road with that one. So I apologize if there's some random kind of thumbnails, but you gotta explore and expand. MK11 is changing and growing, and maybe I wasn't really growing along with it, so time to make those changes. So that's all the equipment and the apps that I use. If there's anything that I missed that you were really curious about, just comment down below, and I'll just comment underneath it and let you know what my answer to that is. So, final question here. I really hope Injustice 3 improves on Injustice 2. Like, don't give zoners so many options. Starfire and Atrocitus are probably the most unfair characters you'll ever encounter in a game. No, that's not true. You haven't played MK9 or Injustice 1. Starfire was a bit much. I think Dr. Fate was a good middle ground because he was an obvious zoner and he didn't have too many shenanigans when he got up front. So I'd like to see more like very hybrid, not hybrid, sorry, quite the opposite of that. Like more like if I keep you at full screen the whole game, I will win. If I let you get in my face, I will lose. Like I want to see like have zoners in the game, but that's their thing. Like up close, they have the bare minimum to kind of deal with rushdown, but maybe like one attack to kind of try and push them away that's super unsafe or something like that. That's how I would balance zoners in the game. Because there's so many different archetypes, and I hope that MK11 they kind of got away from that a little bit. You don't really have grapplers. You have characters that can't have command grabs and stuff, but they're not really grapplers. But yeah, you have characters that aren't really zoners, like Force of Nature and Fearless Katana are probably two of the only ones in the game who are zoners. RoboCop, second variation, but like, why would you play it when better zoners exist? So that's my take on that. And then you just have rushdown characters. So there's something for everybody, Rushdown, people that play rushdown characters will always bitch about zoners because it's a bad matchup. No one wants to play a bad matchup, so just get rid of them. Get them out of the game. I'm not going to learn the matchup. Why would I do that? Get rid of the zoners. Get them out of the game. So, anyways, guys, that's all the comments for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, leave your comments down below if you want, and that's usually where I feed from when I get questions for the next video. So, if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because we make new videos almost every single day. #BoneHawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you guys in the next video.